Hey everybody, it's Christina Holloway here. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about the 5 most popular types of toxic coworker you will experience in your career. These toxic coworkers could show up anywhere, as colleagues, as stakeholders, as subordinates, and most popularly, as your boss. We're going to talk about each one, and I'm going to share strategies on how to deal with them when they cross your path. Real quick, if you enjoy this content and want to learn more about how to make power moves in your career, make sure to follow my channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss a video from me. Don't forget to download your free communication toolkit, which teaches you the 5 ways to communicate with impact and confidence as you build trust, authority, and influence to grow your career. All right, so let's get started. Number 1, the gossip girl or gossip guy. They love to hang out by the water cooler. This person will always give you dirt as a way to build a relationship. It's all about the sharing of information as a way to build a relationship and leverage that information to their advantage. Now, it's toxic because this is not how you build trust in relationships at work. This is a broken approach to political empire building, so to speak. Once a person goes down this road, they will only be seen as the one with dirty information, which may or may not be true. And that person has now left themselves open to being manipulated by people with more power. Also, this is a chaos agent, especially if the gossip is malicious, false, and intended to hurt someone's credibility. Here's the thing about the gossip. There are people at work who find this person useful. That's why they don't necessarily go away, and they can come across as friendly and an ally. But their value in the workplace is an illusion. They cause more problems than their solutions. Here's how to handle a gossip. Stay as far away from this person as possible, and definitely reduce the amount of time you spend talking to them. Slowly reduce the one-on-one meetings and calls, and maybe explain that you've been getting busier these days. If the gossiping person is creating gossip about you, then you can and should address it directly and quickly. I'm not sure where you're getting this information, but this is incorrect. Next time, talk to me directly. Be firm and direct. Number 2, the mean girls or the boys club. They exclude you from a powerful network. 2 scenarios here. 1, they're doing it on purpose, the mean girls syndrome. 2, they're forming cliques and believe that they're being inclusive, but they don't understand how they're not. The boys club. Here's an example. About 10 years ago, I enrolled in an intensive 6-month management training program. It was a great program with a mix of men and women. And we went through the entire 6 months, and near the end, we went out to celebrate. That's when a group of men started talking about how they'd get together after each weekly class and have drinks to talk about the program. None of the women were invited, none of us. And when we asked why not, they just stared at us blankly because it never occurred to them to invite us. But also, they never talked about it during class. They kept it their little secret. One guy said they were just smoking cigars and drinking scotch anyway, and would we really want to do that? Me? Yeah. I would have gone once or twice. Why? So I could get to know them better. These types of social outings create bonds and shared perspectives that are valuable as you continue to grow and learn. Being excluded can set you back professionally. Here's how to handle the exclusive group. First, figure out if it's important for your career development to get visibility with those people, or if the reason you want to be included is just because. Sometimes the allure of exclusivity is an illusion. Second, ask. Be bold, be confident, and don't let the idea of a clique intimidate you. I hear you've been getting together once a month to talk about the program's lessons. How can I attend? Don't ask, can I attend? Ask them how they can make it happen. Number 3, the scene stealer. They like to interrupt and run the show. Ugh. Basically, this is the person who likes to jump on your answers during calls or meetings and redirect while you're making a point. Or worse, they enjoy interrupting you and taking the steam out of your contribution. This is toxic, and it's worse when you're new to your role or new to the meetings and trying to contribute only to have some pompous ass put you down or cut you off so they can hear themselves talk. It's demoralizing. And the worst part is that this person almost always goes unchecked. No one in the meeting will ever stand up and say, "Hey, you've interrupted Sue while she was making a point." In fact, every person I've coached has told me that their boss will tell them to deal with it yourself and you need to push back. Super bad boss advice. When a person behaves this way, you need an ally, not a boss who sits back to see how it's going to play out. This just means you have a boss who's also afraid of the scene stealer. How should you handle it? Now, I'm not one to advise using anger as a tool to solve problems, but more often than not, if you've been polite and this has repeatedly happened to you, then the blow up is usually the moment the toxic person realizes that they were pushing too far. Usually, but not always. Basically, your boundary should consist of professional statements, not name calling, and even if you think being polite is the right approach, it's really best to call it out as soon as it starts happening. Get to it early. This happened to me last year. I was giving a debrief on a full program I had developed over a number of years, and this new person actually said, I think what she really meant to say was this. And I was astounded. You freeze when you hear stuff like that. In my mind, I was completely caught off guard. In my mouth was the statement, I know what I meant to say. Please don't reframe my perspective. Your statement has to be automatic, polite, and firm. This is the definition of what a boundary looks like. Did they interrupt you? I'm not finished talking. I'd like to finish my statement. Again, we don't know how they're going to respond or react, but for you to feel confident in your ability to set boundaries, then say the words out loud. Be scared, but say it. Your win isn't about changing the person. Your win is about standing up for yourself in that moment. That's your win. Number 4, the devil's advocate. They think they're contributing, but really they're just creating red tape. This is the person who is always at your meetings with higher ups and listens to you give your update with your suggestions and strategies, only to pipe up and say, that sounds good, but maybe we should change it, or I'm just tossing some ideas around here. This person only adds value by poking holes in your contributions. They don't do work. They just like to talk. They're interlopers, so to speak. They literally don't add value. They just tangle up ideas and create more work for you because your boss will respond with, well, Bob, why don't you add a bunch more material on how to address this hypothetical situation so we have our bases covered? And the answer from your boss should have been, since this is your concern, Mary, I suggest you create a proposal addressing your points and circle back with Bob. Mary won't touch it. How should you handle the devil's advocate? Your answer should always be, Mary, send over the concerns and I'll take a look. Don't promise anything and try to avoid getting on a call with Mary because she's just going to tell you what she thinks and expect you to write it up. They're piggybacking on your work and then they want credit for collaborating. What do you tell your boss? I've asked Mary a few times to send me her summary and she hasn't forwarded it. Also, I'm not so sure her points have merit for this stage of the proposal. I'd like to defer. The goal is to give yourself time to come up with an answer as to why the devil's advocate was a weak suggestion in the first place, because it usually is. Number 5, the triple threat. This is the dark triad. This is a popular one, and most of the people I work with believe they're dealing with the triple threat, and some of them are. The dark triad includes narcissism, Machiavellian tendencies, and psychopathy. I've included a link to an article below that talks more about it. These people will undermine you and try to bury you for their own enjoyment because they think work is a playing field for them to be destructive. If you have a colleague or a boss who is a triple threat, get out as fast as you can. I have only dealt with a person like this twice in my adult professional life, and it was a crazy experience that messed with me mentally. For the person who was my boss, I managed to secretly negotiate a transfer with my skip level's help. And I moved my desk over the weekend so she couldn't intervene and stop the transfer. She was a completely unhinged person, and others knew it. Now, if you need to keep your job and you really just need techniques on how to survive this behavior, then you need to be stealthy, you need to be creative, and you need to start planning an exit strategy. It could be anything. Working with others to get promoted or transferred, quietly creating your resume and looking elsewhere. Most importantly, reducing your exposure to this person by requesting projects that they can't join due to lack of experience or qualifications. Be very, very creative and secretive, because if you do anything to improve your situation, they will see it as an invitation to destroy you. If you are dealing with a triple threat, you are in a tough spot. This is the only type of toxic coworker where I would not suggest dealing directly with them. It is a losing battle. They will do anything to destroy you, and they have no morals or ethics to prevent them from truly sinister behavior. That's the bad news. But the good news is that this is a temporary situation, and you have the power to change it, as long as you understand that you have to make some tough decisions about your own career path. All right, so that's it for my video on how to deal with these 5 types of toxic coworker. If you have experience working with any of these types, feel free to share it in the comments below. I'd love to hear about it. Don't forget to download my free communication toolkit, which I provided in the link below. And if you enjoyed watching this video and you found it helpful, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up by hitting that like button, and make sure you're subscribed to my channel so you never miss another video from me. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.